Hello, and welcome back to the English Cast. I'm Ryan.
Hi everyone, I'm Emma, and we're very happy to have you with us today.
Have you ever been invited to an event or a dinner party and you had to tell your friend you weren't quite sure if you were going? You might stop and think to yourself, wait a minute, I would go, I could go, or I should go. They sound almost exactly the same, but they send a completely different message to your friend.
Oh, that happens to a lot of learners, and it is perfectly normal. I hear that confusion all the time. Those three little words, would, could, and should, are so frustrating because they actually rhyme. They look similar on paper, they sound similar when spoken fast, but they change the entire emotional meaning of your sentence. A lot of people just freeze up in the middle of a sentence because they don't want to accidentally make a promise they can't keep.
That's a really interesting way to think about it. It really is about the emotion and the intention behind the action. Today, we are going to untangle these three words so you can feel completely confident using them in your daily life. We aren't going to use any complicated grammar terminology. Instead, we are going to assign a simple feeling or a specific job to each word.
I love doing it that way. It makes it so much easier to visualize and remember. Let's start with the word should. When I hear the word should, it always feels like a pointing finger. It feels like advice or a recommendation, or sometimes a personal responsibility. It's all about what is the best or right thing to do in a specific situation.
That's a great description. Should is the word of good ideas. If it's raining heavily outside and you don't have a jacket, I will look at you and say, you should take an umbrella. I am giving you my best advice to keep you dry. Or if I have a big presentation at work tomorrow morning, I might say to myself, I really should practice my speech tonight. It's my responsibility, even if I would rather be watching television.
Exactly. It's the voice of reason telling you the best path forward. Now, let's move to our second word, which is could. If should is about what is best, could is all about your options. It is the word of possibility and ability. Whenever you use could, you are basically telling someone, I have the power to do this, or this is one of my choices, but I haven't made a final decision yet.
Think of could like looking at a restaurant menu. You look at all the different delicious dishes and you say to your friend, I could order the pasta, or I could order the chicken salad. You have the ability to choose either one. It is a very relaxed, low-pressure word because you are just listing your possibilities aloud.
That's actually a great example. If my car breaks down, a friend might offer a few solutions to help me out. They might say, you could take the bus, or I could drive you to work. They are just offering options, not making a strict plan. Now, the final word of the three is would, and would steps away from reality just a little bit. It is the word of imagination and conditions.
Yes, would is the dreamer of the group. We use it when we are talking about a hypothetical situation, something that isn't actually happening right now, but we are imagining what it looks like. Often, it depends on something else happening first. It's like saying, I have the strong intention to do this, but there is a condition stopping me.
For example, imagine looking at a beautiful, expensive jacket in a store window. You don't have enough money in your bank account to buy it today. You might sigh and say to your friend, I would buy that jacket if I had the money. You are imagining a different reality. The intention is clearly there, but the reality of the price tag is stopping you.
Now, before we go deeper into how to use these perfectly in conversations, let's talk about a very realistic mistake that happens when learners try to build sentences with these words. Emma, I know you hear this one quite frequently when you are chatting with students online.
I really do. Because these words feel a bit like rules or actions, learners often confuse them with the phrase have to or need to. So, a learner might be talking about their study habits and say to me, Emma, I should to practice my English more. Or they might want to assist someone and say, I could to help you with that project.
I hear that mistake all the time. It is such a natural mistake to make because in many other English structures, we absolutely need that connecting word to. We say, I want to go or I need to go. So your brain assumes it is completely logical to say, I should to go.
It makes total sense why it happens. The brain is just trying to follow a pattern it already knows and trusts. But these three words, would, could, and should, are incredibly independent. They don't need any help from the word to. They connect directly to the action verb. So instead of saying, I should to practice, I gently remind my students to just say, I should practice.
Gently taking that little word to out of the sentence makes your spoken English sound instantly smoother and more native. I could help you. I would go. You should rest. Just attach the action right to the modal word.
Another area where these words get a little tangled up is when we are asking for things. This is where could and would step out of their normal daily roles and become powerful tools for politeness. In everyday adult life, we rarely demand things directly. We don't just sit down and say, give me the salt.
Right, that sounds far too aggressive for a normal dinner table or a workplace. Instead, we use could or would to soften the request and make it friendly. You can say, could you pass the salt? Or would you pass the salt? And learners often pause and ask me, Ryan, which one is better? Which one should I actually use?
That's a really interesting way to think about it. And the truth is, in most daily situations, they are almost exactly the same. They are both wonderfully polite. But if we want to look at the tiny, invisible difference, it goes back to their core feelings. Could is about ability. So when you ask, could you pass the salt? You are technically asking, do you have the physical ability to reach it and pass it to me?
And would is about intention or willingness. So asking, would you pass the salt, is technically asking, are you willing to pass it to me? But honestly, nobody is analyzing that at the dinner table. If you use either one of them to ask a favor, you are going to sound incredibly natural, polite, and respectful.
I think this is a great moment to pause and let our listeners test their own instincts with these feelings. Take a moment and think about this sentence. Imagine your best friend has a terrible headache. They have been working on their computer all day. Their eyes are red and they look completely exhausted.
You want to give them some strong, caring advice. Which one sounds more natural to you? Would you say, you could take a break? Or would you say, you should take a break? Take a few seconds to think about the feeling you want to send to your friend.
If you chose, you should take a break, you are absolutely right. Because you care about your friend, you want to give them the best possible advice for their health. Should tells them it is the right thing to do. If you chose could, you are just offering an option, which is a bit too weak and casual for a friend who is in pain.
Let's put all of these words into a real-life conversation scenario so you can hear how they naturally bounce back and forth in dialogue. Let's imagine Emma and I are trying to plan a short weekend trip together, but we haven't decided where to go yet. Listen to how we use these words to navigate our plans.
Hey Ryan, we have a long weekend coming up. We should really go somewhere and get out of the city for a few days.
I agree. We definitely should. We could drive up to the mountains and rent a small cabin for a couple of nights.
Oh, I would love to go to the mountains, but my car is making a strange noise lately. I don't think it would make the drive up those steep hills.
That's a good point. We don't want to break down. Well, we could take the train down to the coast instead. We could walk on the beach.
That sounds perfect and relaxing. I should look up train tickets right now before they sell out.
Let's pause right there and break down that conversation. Notice how Emma started the interaction. She said, "We should really go somewhere."
Yes, I used should because I felt strongly about it. I was giving a firm recommendation that taking a break is a great idea for both of us.
Then I replied, "We could drive up to the mountains." I didn't say we should go to the mountains because I didn't want to force the idea. I was just offering one possible option. I was putting an idea on the table using could.
And my enthusiastic response was, I would love to go. I am imagining the trip, feeling that hypothetical joy. But then reality hit, and I mentioned my unreliable car. I said, I don't think it would make the drive. I am imagining the car failing in that specific future situation.
So I offered another option. We could take the train. And you finished the conversation by taking responsibility for the next step. You said, "I should look up train tickets." It became your task, your best course of action to secure our trip.
When you hear it all together like that, it really does sound like a natural flow of ideas, options, and final decisions. It is a very normal, everyday rhythm for planning anything with a friend, a family member, or a coworker.
To wrap up our discussion today, let's confidently summarize the core feelings of these three words. Remember, don't worry about heavy grammar terms or memorizing charts. Just remember the job each word does in your sentence.
First, we have should. This is your advice word. Use it when you want to recommend the best path, or when you are talking about a responsibility. You should drink more water. I should call my mother tonight.
Second, we have could. This is your options word. Use it to talk about possibilities, choices, or abilities without making a firm commitment to any of them. We could watch a movie tonight. I could help you with your homework tomorrow.
And finally, we have would. This is your imagination word. Use it to talk about hypothetical situations, dreams, or things you fully intend to do if a certain condition is met. I would travel the world if I had the time. It would be nice to see him again.
All right, that brings us to the end of today's episode. We hope this conversation helped make English feel clearer and more natural for you in everyday situations.
Remember, progress comes from small, daily practice.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the English Cast so you don't miss the next one.
And as always, keep learning, keep speaking, and keep connecting. Thanks for spending your time with us. We'll see you in the next episode.